Oh my God! All right, Cindy, we hear you're like crazy, is what we hear.
Oh yeah, I see y'all are always so quick to judge.
Well,
But then,
what's your deal? Did you just tell my screener that the guy who lost three members of his family should just move?
no, he said he was out of there, and so I think he should go to California, where they
He
have
didn't
more
say he
cases
was
and
out.
are locked down.
Do you know what the infection rate in California is?
Tell me,
2.6. Do you know what it is in Texas?
tell me,
13%.
and
So
tell me
what?
where you get your.
From the CDC, dear. I'm lying.
Oh,
Okay.
you
Why don't you?
trust me.
You know, your Google machine works. Why don't you do that? Why don't you just Google infection
No, I don't
rate?
do that. I listen to y'all. I listen to y'all.
Okay, then you're if
And y'all-
if y'all is me, then you have to take me at my word. But I'm telling you, don't believe a word I say. Go look it up. I'm telling you to go look it up. California
Well, no, I
has a
just-
2.6% infection rate, and you have a 13% infection rate. So I don't know where y'all are getting y'all's numbers, but why would you tell a man who just called the show, who is obviously grieving for the loss of his dad and two other relatives, that he should just move? Why does he have to move out of your
I did not
state?
say that he
Because
should just move.
Liz, I'll
He
tell
said
you.
he
I'll
was
tell you
out of
what.
there.
Why don't you give me back my federal money? Okay. Why don't you do that? You know, people in New York pay very high
What money?
taxes, and we send you all kinds of
right.
money that you
Right,
don't
right.
deserve. So why don't you do that? Send me
You
back
don't
my
even know what you're
money.
talking about.
Why don't you send me back my money, my federal subsidies that we give to you?
Why?
Until
You
you
don't
until
even
you
know what
get
you're talking
until you
about.
get some
Why
sense
don't
of
you ask- why don't you
responsibility.
ask your governor?
I
Why
would
don't you
like
ask
for your
to help you
governor,
out?
I would like for your governor to winterize his electric grid so I don't have to pay for it when it fails. So I don't have to give you disaster money. Okay? How's that?
Oh, so we need to listen
Why
to your,
why don't you move to a state where you support Texas if you want to live in Texas? Go pay taxes in the state that supports your state. Go pay taxes in the state that actually bails you out because you elect a moron for a governor. And when your electric grid fails,
Are
you
you
look
saying
at
the
me,
governor's a
you look at
moron now?
me and my our blue states, and you say, "We here, our hands are out. We need disaster relief.
Hey, what about
we
all-
need
hey,
money." Shut up,
Randy,
Cindy.
what about
Shut
all
up.
the
Just
people
shut
that
up.
your governor killed?
What?
What about all the people your governor killed?
My governor killed people.
Putting them in nursing homes
Have
and
you
not
seen-
admitting
have
how
you
many
spe-
people he killed.
Have you seen what happened there? Do you know what happened there? Because you have no idea what
Yes.
world you live in.
I
Okay,
do know.
the
I know that he's
hospitals
going- I
that
know that he's
the
probably
people
gonna-
in the
he's in-
nursing homes
He's in
were
trouble.
they
dude.
got COVID
Okay?
from the
He's in
state.
trouble.
Shut up, Cindy. Just shut the F
Listen,
up.
don't
Shut up.
make
You're an
me
idiot.
shut up.
You're an idiot girl. You're a dumb gal. I don't know how
need to-
you got to be an adult. I don't know how you survived in this world. Cuomo, I'll tell you something. Cuomo needs to resign because Cuomo is a sexual harasser, apparently. Okay? But the nursing home thing, he didn't do anything wrong. First of all, the president of the United States left all the states on their own to fend for themselves, right? He didn't want to lead this. He didn't want to do a national pandemic. He didn't want to do anything at all, okay? So he put each governor in the Hunger Games, right? Every state had to compete against every other state for PPE, for everything and anything to beat back COVID. Okay, so everybody goes out and everybody buys masks and gowns and driving up the price because Trump's such a great guy. So now all of a sudden you got governors facing a freaking pandemic without any help from the feds, without any help at all. The hospitals were overrun in New York because New York is an international point of entry and exit for the United States. And the Europeans that came into the country, Europeans, what's her name, Cindy? Douche. You're such a douchey girl. I didn't think girls could be douchebags, but you are. So now he's got the hospitals overrun. And the hospitals are like, we have to put people somewhere. So the nursing homes where those recovering patients were sent already had COVID in them and had wards where COVID patients were segregated. And the way that those nursing homes already had COVID was because the staff working in those nursing homes were bringing it to the nursing homes. Cindy, read a freaking newspaper, learn something. You'll never do it. You never will. You know what? Every time you look at a newspaper, every time you think about a newspaper, I want you to think of me and your freaking failure as an adult to read one. I just want you to feel the failure that you are. Every time you go to read something and you say, I'm not going to read, I don't want to read. I just want you to know what a failure as an adult you are, because you won't read. You just want to say, this happened and that happened. Why doesn't he move to California? They're all locked down and they got more COVID. Really? And so I tell her what the infection rate is. It's 2.6%. DC also is like 2.6%. Texas is 13%. No, why don't you tell me? God, you're a disgrace to my gender. You understand that? I'm embarrassed to be a woman when I hear your voice.
She says, why don't you tell me, and then proceeds to call you a liar when you tell her.
I know, because she's a failure as a human being. She's a failure as a woman. She's a failure as a nurturer. She's a failure as an adult. Rob in Arizona.
Randy, hey, so the lying, cheating Republican crime organization is showing us who they are with their legislation. You know, just like they don't want Medicare for all because they think it's perfectly acceptable to have a medical emergency and go bankrupt and lose your house, they're doing that now with the utility companies like in Texas. So now when you have a tornado, a hurricane, or a cold front snap, you too can go bankrupt and lose your home. So it's almost like their legislation is not for a free market. Their legislations are for laws that make it legal, basically, to screw you. So they want to basically legalize their crimes. When they say free market, they mean free to screw you market is what they're trying to do. That's their legislation.
That's why I'm saying maybe we as high tax states need to require that these grifter states, these moocher states like Texas, like Mississippi, like Alabama, that they have some basic requirements to look after their own electric grid, that they have some basic requirements to look after their own water supply, that they literally follow CDC guidelines, okay, or else they don't get bailout money. I'm so tired of them. I'm really so tired of carrying them with their arrogant, ignorant attitude. I mean, it's one thing to keep sending them money because it's, you know, they need it, but to send them money when they're so arrogant about criticizing those of us that are doing so much better than them that we can give them money, and then they bite the hand that feeds them.
Right. Now, how you handled that last caller is basically how America should handle the Republican Party from here out.
She's a horror show, that woman. Just a horror show. These are the Musher states. These are the states that literally will risk their own people's lives, and when they die or when their hospitals are inundated, they will turn to the federal government and put their hands out and say, we need money. We need money. Give us money. Moocher states is what they are. And we need to actually require them to do certain basic things. Like winterizing their electric grid, like making sure they have a steady supply of water, winterizing the pipes, you know, stuff like that there. So they don't always have to come to us. We need disaster money. We need disaster money. Oh, we need help. We need this. We need that. We need that. I'm so tired of you. And then, you know, it would be okay. It would be okay if you would just say, thank you. Thank you. But oh no, not you. You disgraceful human beings, you. You sit there and you criticize those of us who are paying extra taxes to take care of you. Enough of that. I'm so over you. Jerry in Baltimore.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you. I love how you dressed down that lady. I won't even call her conservative.
Oh, she's a know-nothing, is what she is. She's an empty little pea-brain coward. She's a lunatic.
No, because that's an insult to lunatics. But every other word you said is accurate.
Yeah. It's sad.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so tired of being, told anything by people who are takers, and we're the makers. I'm so tired of us being criticized. The makers are constantly having to listen to the takers run their stinking mouths with their crazy freaking governors and their lieutenant governors that actually get on the TV and say, I'm willing to die for the stock market. I'm willing to die. That's what their lieutenant governor, what's his name, Dan Patrick, he actually said that at the beginning of this pandemic. Oh, bite me already. You're moochers, you're takers, we're the makers, we're the ones that actually fund you. So shut up about it already. Slap a mask over that face of yours and go to the supermarket and get it over with. Don't call me and tell me I should tell a grieving man who just lost 3 members of his family that he should move to California. Are you freaking daft? Is there something missing inside of you? God, you're an empty shell of a person. Just an empty vessel walking around and mouthing off about crap you don't know. Mark in Pennsylvania.
How you doing, Rand?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Hey, listen, you know what? I'm tired of these people claiming to be pro-life. How about being pro-saving lives? They're such hypocrites.
They're
They're
disgusting.
only pro-life. There's sometimes a 12 or 13 or 14-year-old girl won't survive a pregnancy, and she needs reproductive health care. Sometimes you can save
Whose
lives.
business is that? That's not contagious. She wants to put herself in every kid's uterus, every single one, but she doesn't want to slap a mask on that face of hers.
Well, a mask will save lives too. That's the whole point of a mask, is to save somebody's life. You can't be pro-life and then want to not wear a mask or sell guns or force a 13-year-old girl to go through a life-threatening pregnancy. They're not consistent. You want to be the party of saving lives.
Yeah, and if they're into saving lives, then I think that they ought to demand that their governor actually provide electricity.
Absolutely. It's all connected. It's all about saving lives. Sometimes you have to do things to save lives. The same thing with guns. You can't be pro-life and flood the street with assault rifles. They're hypocrites. It's all about money, honey.
I know. I understand.
And money comes in from the NRA and money comes in from the churches, and they're only pro-life when the church is giving them money. When your 13-year-old Christian daughter is pregnant and the doctor says she won't survive the childbirth, maybe your Christian daughter shouldn't have a baby at 13. It makes no sense.
Listen, they make no sense. They don't. They never did. And they can't, because they don't have the gray matter to make a logical thought. They just can't figure it out. These are people that literally cannot figure it out. Diane in California.
Hey, Randy.
Hi.
I'm glad you read my mind. I was driving in the car and I thought exactly the same thing you were saying just now. These Texas states and all these states, they need to be accountable for whatever you were speaking about.
Yeah, no,
And
I mean, I'm just saying, if they're going to
tired
be
of it.
taker states, which they are, okay, if they're going to be, like taking more federal dollars than they actually pay into the Treasury, right? Then as
Right.
a United States, I'm all about it. Okay, fine, I'll give you. But the truth is, they need to make some basic, adjustments. Some basic requirements need to be written into law. Okay, that says that if you take one more dollar than you supply the Treasury with in your state, then you have to agree to winterizing your electric grid. You have to agree to provide clean drinking water to your population at all times. And if you fail at that, then you pay a penalty. You pay a fine. And if you don't want to follow CDC recommendations in the middle of a freaking global pandemic, for God's sakes, in which the United States was so poorly led that it has the most death of any other nation on this planet, and you are still arguing and don't want to, observe the recommendations by the state, then you pay me. You pay me.
Yeah. Exactly, and I hate Texas. I mean, I'm just so they're such stupid heads. I mean, really, seriously.
The whole state is not like that. I lived in Texas. I lived in North Texas, South Texas, East Texas, and West Texas, and I'm telling you, the whole state is not like that. There are an enormous amount of really fine, good, decent, happy, productive people in Texas that work their tails off. But there are people that just don't understand how much money the high tax states give to support them, and they want to criticize the way we do things. Well, screw you. I'm not going to sit still for your mouth. I'm just not.
And what's really scary, Randy, here's the thing. It's like their rates are going up in California, where I'm at. You said, you gave the rates previously, and we have gone down. We're a huge state like Texas. And what's really scary is, we don't know who's going to come and drive down to California or these other states, and then they have the infection. I mean, we're so close to eradicating this. Why don't people just calm down and just do the right thing, man?
Because
the right thing.
Because they don't believe in the right thing. They believe in their own thing. They believe in just doing whatever with no logic or reason behind it. Absolutely no compassion, no empathy, no logic, no reason. That woman couldn't figure her way out of a paper freaking bag, okay? And that's fine as long as she doesn't criticize the way that the giving states are providing her with her way of life. She needs to shut up, mask up, and sit still for 2 more months.
Exactly.
Right. Well, move to California. Look at them. They got 2.6% infection rate. Cindy, your state suffering. 13% transmission rate. Deaths out the yin over 57,000. What's wrong with you?